All right, so recently remakes, re-releases have been kind of a hot topic in the Sonic community. You know, we had the leak about Heroes a while back. Recently, you know, there's been talk of 06, as that director said he wanted to take another shot at it. And, you know, there was some division there on whether or not they should do it, how much they would change. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to give my 2 cents, and you know, I think there is some merit to the people that are worried that they would change a lot, and you know, here's why. You know, if we look at recent re-releases, you know, probably other than Colors Ultimate, more so X Gens and Origins. You know, you look at Origins, and you know, we saw music change. They changed the tracks that had any sort of connection to Brad Buxer, Michael Jackson. They didn't really communicate any of that with us. We just had to buy the game and find out. So they just changed that, you know, kind of pretended like that was how it was from the beginning. You know, there was some lore even that was changed. You know, it wasn't even really confirmed that CD came before 2 in the timeline, but that was something that they made canon. And you know, this is kind of the most important one for this video, that even the voices, you know, there actually were some voice lines that Sonic had in CD. You know, when you would get a life box, you would say yes, or if you waited, I think it was like 3 minutes or something, you know, he'd say, "I'm out of here," and you'd jump down. And those have been completely replaced. In addition, you know, they also added all these cutscenes that, you know, great as they are, the characters don't talk. That's something that they're trying to create consistency with generations, with forces. You know, Mania Adventures, like, you know, classic Sonic doesn't talk, so any instance of him talking, let's just erase that. And you look at X Gens, and specifically the Sonic generations, half of that game, we didn't just get a new script, but like a new dub entirely. You know, even voice actors that you barely had any lines were replaced. You know, people that only had like 1 or 2 grunts in white space, and then like maybe 2 lines when you save them, then the line at the end of the game, and the time meter fight. So obviously they're wanting consistency here. So much so, you know, they even changed some cutscenes for Amy in particular to you know, make her more consistent with what Amy currently is in their eyes. So, you know, clearly the PR or social team or the lore team, whoever it is, they are fighting to make this the definitive cast, the definitive portrayals going forward. You know, they're just as tired of all the recasting the characters as we are. And it's happened 3 times, not including all the different TV shows and stuff like that. You know, they want consistency, and they will go to great lengths to maintain that going forward. And I would actually bet money that the reason they haven't re-released something like Unleashed in the adventure games is because they would want a full redub. You know, they don't want new consumers or, you know, this next generation of kids to be confused when Sonic's voice is inconsistent between games. You know, and plus they don't want to have to pay these old casts. You know, some of these people don't even do voiceover anymore. You know, if we get an adventure remake, it will have the modern cast that all have current contracts at Sega. You know, they don't want to have to pay all these people that are not even under contract anymore. It's a big reason. You know, I don't think Jason Griffith or Ryan Drummond will be in their respective remakes. I think it will be Roger, because I think that Roger has a current contract with Sega, and things like Amy's personality that they've been trying to create consistency around. Well, guess what? Amy is pretty different in Adventure 1, Adventure 2, Unleashed, a lot of these older games. And so that is an obstacle for them in the remake. As us, the fans, we've seen Amy act in that way for years. It's not going to really bother us. But now that they've committed to this and that they're changing cutscenes and things like that, clearly this will be the standard moving forward. They want consistency with these characters, and even somehow if we get Shadow 05 re-released, there will be changes. I think that they would take out swear words, possibly even the weapons. I feel like that's pretty integral to the gameplay, so that they'd have to do some work around, maybe turn it into some chaos ability, but certainly a different script with no swear words. And everything I said may sound bad, and honestly some of it may be, but if this really is their plan, because I could be totally grasping at straws here. They could see the negative reception to just the changes they've made to Amy and the script, and be like, you know what, we're just gonna re-release these games as they are. But if this really is their plan, and there's no option for like a new cast in the future, I actually think this could be a blessing in disguise. And here's why. I think that we can all agree that some of the best moments in terms of story and narrative in the Sonic series happened before the meta era. That wasn't really a focus of those 2010 games. Back when Sonic was a more shonen or action-based series, there was just a lot of cool moments that define the series and define these characters. So if the new cast gets the opportunity to voice those moments, I actually think that could be huge for their performances going forward. Maybe those performances in those remakes and re-releases won't be as good as the OG voices, which, that's just hard because you're fighting nostalgia at that point. But by having the opportunity to voice those moments from Adventure, 06, and Unleashed, some of the best stories, that could better prepare them for big moments down the line in new original games like Frontiers. And that could create a truly definitive cast if they're able to voice all of those moments and take what they learn. I've even talking about like the voice directors as well. If they see these old stories and they see the old performances, because I'm sure that they would. Jack Fletcher, the head of voice direction currently, I think since Colors, he's been in that role. I think if he actually is exposed to these old stories, these old performances, he can better understand, what Sonic is supposed to be and what it was like for years until the 2010s. And so, we even kind of saw this with Kirk Thornton. I think voicing Shadow in Dark Beginnings and Shadow Generations has prepared him extremely well for Shadow's next appearance. Like I am confident that Shadow's next appearance will be Kirk's greatest performance as Shadow. And this is coming from someone who hated Kirk's performance, and no offense to the actor, Kirk is awesome, but I just hated what they were doing with Shadow for a long time and his voice. But what can I say? I mean, I think by looking in the past and particularly going through the past and voicing these older moments, like being around Maria, that worked. That really helped Kirk be a great Shadow voice, potentially the best, depending on who you ask. And I think that is possible for these other characters as well. So, it is unfortunate that there's been this erasure. This is something that most series probably don't have to deal with, but most series probably haven't had 3 casts in their existence. But thankfully, if you own these old games, the old versions are not going anywhere. The OG 06 will always be there in the original copy that you can get for 360 PS3. But who knows? Maybe bringing in these new voices and bringing in this consistency that they want could be the best possible outcome if they're committed to sticking with this cast going forward. And only time can tell on that. So let me know your thoughts on the recent Erasure series. Let me know in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe for more like this. Peace out.